That's what scares me the most. That I hope I don't become irrelevant for my customers.
Hello and welcome. This is Puneet Surana and you are listening to the Galata podcast. Galata is a word from the Indian language Kannada that means the noise caused by a ruckus. This podcast is about starting up while we are still in college, testing ideas, creating a team, building something worthwhile, and adding value to other people's lives. Join us as we discuss the thrill of earning your first buck, tackling uncertainties, overcoming obstacles, and delighting others. Most of all, the Galata podcast is about seeing, understanding, and implementing so you can deliver on your audacious promise. We are joined today by somebody who has pursued his Masters in Management from Australian National University. He was part of the Envision Accelerator program from Indian School of Business and also has studied marketing from Cambridge Judge Business School. I think he is an unconventional entrepreneur, having founded 3 ventures, creating and making happen concerts across the country to selling handmade carpets, and now creating and breaking new ground in the menstrual hygiene industry, which is non-existent in the country. He has been featured in multiple dailies, blogs. He is recently, as recent as last week, been awarded by Economic Times Startup Awards 2019. He's part of the Fortune 40 and the 40. Don't fall for his looks. Doesn't look up. He's a TEDx speaker, but more than anything else, I think he has founded a wonderful startup, the First Step Digital, which has products like Peabody, Sirona, Bodyguard, which are, in his words, thoughtful solutions for women. More than anything else, I think this man is passionate about solving those issues that are pushed under the rug and never spoken about in general public. Ladies and gentlemen, the Galata gang, join me in welcoming Deep Bajaj.
Thank you so much. You guys are so kind with your compliments. But I don't think I deserve even half of it. But good to be here.
The usual question I start with, Deep, is what were the conversations around dinner table when you were growing up?
Growing up, dinner tables there were not many discussions that would happen because dad was very busy trying to put the family and the meals together. So I think I don't even remember a lot of my childhood. I think I'm just sleepwalked through my childhood. What I remember is when for the first time the opportunity to travel after my graduation. So since after that I remember most of my life. Before that was just a flash. I don't really remember too much.
A flash? Did you have any hobbies or any...
No, I came from a very simple neighborhood school. So there were no fancy hobbies around horse ridings or swimming or squash and stuff like that. So hobbies, I have to think that one hard, man. In my 9th and 10th, I'd started to participate. I was an introvert till 9th grade. And I don't know what bit me in 9th, but I then switched sides completely and then started participating in a lot of debates and declamations and theatre.
What was that moment? Because a lot of youngsters I meet are very closed.
Yeah, so
in their cave.
Everybody is in, his or her cave even right now, to be honest. At least that's how I am. There's a part of me that is visible to the world and there's a part of me that takes refuge in my heart. And I think you try to protect that, being from attacks per se. For me, again, I don't remember what happened, but something happened in 9th is what I know. Because till 8th, I had no certificates. I had nothing. I was an average student. After 9th, something changed. And after that, I think there was no looking back in terms of at least I was no more an introvert for the world outside. And that's it. That's what I have to say about that.
That's a way to safely end the question. You don't want to answer.
Yeah, you can say that. No, because I don't want to lie. The whole thing is, if I know something, I will certainly share. So I've shared some parts of it, which I think I've never shared anywhere else in the past, saying that I was an introvert. I mean, looking at me, it's very difficult.
Just getting started.
Yeah. I'm getting scared already. I wish you had given me these questions earlier. Mine is a very boring life, I said. There were challenges and there were solutions available. And after school, I think I just took it on me to keep solving all the things that were lacking in my life. After school, I think what was lacking was I could see a lot of family members, the extended family work. They came from family of means. and there were things which were lacking in my life, and I thought I want to turn that. So I think profession or career took the center stage, and I started working straight out of school.
Straight out of school?
Yeah. After 12th is the first job. I just bought a bike, and the first and the only job that I did
Insurance?
around that time was... So insurance sector was just opening up. I'm talking 2001. Maybe you were just learning to crawl back then. Were you born then?
Oh God.
How young are you? It's so good to see you, man, doing all this at such at such a young age. I don't know what was I doing when I was 20. But yes, so it started with selling this. Insurance sector was just opening up. So I was lucky to be picked up by Birla Sun Life as their bank assurance officer. And I took that job. I said I wanted to make my own money and buy stuff which I did not have access to earlier. And that's where the foundation. So the first thing that took over life as a crash course was career. And for 3 years, for a year and a half, I did that.
You studied in parallel?
Yeah, I was doing graduation then alongside, and then I started a small call center, failed at that, where we were selling. I mean, we were able to break even, but was not able to scale. And that's the time we realized the importance of education. Took a break.
How did that go about from selling insurance? You gifted yourself a bike?
Yeah.
Earnings?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
No other option. Yes. So I bought myself a bike, and we used to sell these packages. The first one was with egurukul.com, the same DSA, then started selling insurance, and from where I was picked up by the insurance company. So yes, used to sell stuff door to door. Yeah, started with that, then moved to insurance. Took a break, went to Australia, came back.
Oh, you're going too fast.
I'll finish this in 5 minutes.
You can finish it in 5 lines. No doubt. But I want those listening to it to know that they are there where you were when you were buying that bike, where you were when you just about starting a call center. Because they are there right now, the ones who are listening. And it's for them.
Yeah, so I'd say that it's very important for you to take your chances. Yeah, I think in hindsight, I'm glad that I did whatever I did at that time, while my friends were, finishing their graduation, attending the everyday, weekend party plans, whatever were there. And I was, away from all of that. So, but that's what I wanted from life. So I think the thing that I keep telling all my team members is also this, that if there is anything that you want to do, it's not a very good idea to seek validation from somebody else, because they don't know your life, right? They don't know the cards that you've been dealt. You were born in a different family. I was born in a different family. You have different skill sets. I have different. So it's very important that if you know what is giving you basic happiness, just make a list of all those things and try to do them one after another. That's what I did at that time.
What did you have on your list?
I just wanted to be independent. I wanted to be in control of my own life. And the only thing available to be able to do that back then was a job. So I picked that up. And very early on, it wasn't clear that I'm not cut out for a job. So while the conventional wisdom said, you've got a job, why don't you just continue? I said, I don't want to do it. It's not me. I want to do something more. So that's why it gave my hand at, I think, what was I, about 18, 19, when I did that call center from 14, 15 seater we had. Started
14, 15
seats, yeah. So there were 14, 15 executives who were running that call center. And we used to sell these car insurance. Back then, you did not have online websites where you could buy your insurances. So you used to just make calls and sell insurance. So I think what I believe in today is if there's anything that you want to do, there is never a better time. And try to avoid naysayers as much as you can, because everybody will have an opinion, but they're not living your life. They don't know what you're blessed with.
I think it's a very important point now that we peg our lives based on our friends' lives, decisions based on what our friends are taking decisions when they're as clueless as you are.
Yeah.
How do you take decisions? Did you have an early influence, or did you look up to somebody when you were in that stage of life?
No, unfortunately, back then, this whole startup ecosystem didn't exist. There were no so-called mentors. So I think I was pretty much, I'm sure many people must have played a very critical role.
Definitely.
So I'm not taking anything away from anyone, my parents and some friends who always want me to do well. But was there somebody whose advice I followed to the T? Not really. Because it wasn't available. It's not that but if it is available in your case, if the only criteria is the person whose advice you're taking, it's important that you go to somebody who's positive. I don't know if this generation believes in vibes, but I do. So there are people,
we don't know what that is, but we believe in it.
Well, what it means is that, there are people who make you feel good about yourself. So there's this spiritual speaker called Mr. Dandapani. I don't know if you've heard Dandapani, sir. And I don't follow many people, But his one of the things that I really like about him, he calls it energy vampires. So he said we are all about energy, right? And it's important for you to identify that there'll be some people in your life around whom you'd feel absolutely drained out when you speak to them, and it's critical that you stay away from them. So the point that I was trying to make was, even if it's about mentors, it's about advisors, it's important who you pick. Very, very important, because you're already in a situation where you don't know what to do. I still don't know what to do with my life, by the way. But back then, when you're still trying to figure out, anybody's advice, and if you're somebody who takes people's advice too seriously, can have, I would say, a very serious impact on your career. So if I were to give 2 cents, I'd say just pick your people very carefully, who you're going for advice. If they empower you with positivity, those are the guys. And if there are any energy vampires, like Dandapaniji says, those are the people you need to avoid, because it is all about your state of mind. And even in Mahabharata that way, if you followed Arjun and there is Karna, the two warriors, and between the two, Karna was always more blessed, as he was a better archer, he was a better person, he was a better giving leader that way out of the brothers. But in the war, he had King Shale as his Sarthi, charioteer, and Arjun had Krishna as his Sarthi, and Krishna
driver basically,
I'm so sorry. So Krishna always kept telling Arjun in those, whenever he had the dilemma that how can I shoot my family members? If this war all correct also, so many people will die. Why should I fight the war? And all the people who are standing on the other side of the field are all my gurus. They've taught me something. How can I just go and fight them? So Krishna at that time empowered him to say, no, you need to do it. You've got to do it. You are a better warrior. You're born for glory, etc., etc., etc. On the other side, King Shale, who was Karna's Sarthi, kept belittling him. He would always say that no, he's a better warrior. So, and that plays on your psyche. So it's important that you pick the right people. If you have people around you, please go seek the advice. But at the end of the day, if there's something that you feel very strongly about, please don't listen to anybody. Just go
your
for
own
it.
Krishna,
Be your own urge. We are all fighting our own Mahabharats, We are all fighting our own wars. You might be fighting something with your parents, with your colleagues, with your friend, girlfriend, wife, whoever it is. Your battle is very, very different. Nobody can actually understand you. And hence it is important that you find your own balance. So if mentors is your formula, go for it. If it doesn't work for you just because it's working for somebody else, it's not going to work. So you have to find your own magic formula, your own piece, your own success mantra, what works for you. And just chase that. Do not follow the written rules, because what worked yesterday is no more relevant today. What worked for somebody else is not relevant for you. You're a different person.
How did you take the failure of the insurance company? Or did you shut it abruptly? What happened?
Well, it's like, Steve Jobs said, it's only in hindsight that you can join the dots. I think everything happens for a reason. How did I take it? I don't think I had too many options. It came to a point where I was clear that I can't scale this very well. I need more experience before I can take on these things. And the whole fact that there are 14 lives now dependent on you had started to take a toll.
So how young were you when you were on stage?
18, 19? Yeah. And you were thinking that these are now, some of them had become friends, because you're working out of a basement, you're trying to manage rentals every month, pay salaries in time. So it came in early that I'm not ready for it yet. And that's why I decided that, this is not for me. I want to take a break, because till then life had become a roller coaster of sorts, from selling egurukul.com to insurance to this call center. 3 years just passed by, and I was trying to see what next, and is this something that I want to do? And I realized not really. I think I need to take a break and spend some time with my own self to know what exactly do I need. Switch off from the regular standard expectation, though my parents are phenomenal. I've never been asked for anything in life, But still, there was some unsaid expectation. I don't know who the hell was I trying to compare my life to.
Some Sharma ji ka beta.
I don't know. There is no fixed person in my head right now also. But kuch to hoga na, because usi ki wajah se aap करे जा रहे हो, and then you realize, this is not something.
You're not living your life.
Yeah. So you took a break.
After the break, you headed out to Cambridge. Is that correct?
Or no, after the break, I went to Australia. That's where 2005 to 2006 was ANU. That was a great time to just have heavy introspection. Because that's the first time I was staying away from family and everything. So
cultural shock plus.
Yeah. No, it was a party time for me, but no cultural shock. Sure. It was a good part of my life. Yeah, first few months were tough.
What was the essence of the introspection that you went through, if you could share?
what you start to realize is that all the noise starts to fade away, right? So when you're living the life here, you're like, you feel so good, right? From your bike, you move to a car and you're running a show and you're making money. People are asking what is happening. You're getting calls. All of that is happening. You become used to it. And then it just, the minute you're out, everybody forgets you like this. So that was like in a snap, you're just out. People,
like, what just happened?
You just don't exist, maybe except for a couple of close friends and your family. For others, it's just like business as usual. So, or life as usual. So the biggest learning at that time was that nobody is indispensable and you have just one life. So it's important for you to do what gives you true happiness. And it's not always equal to money or the material things that you end up making. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I decided not to stay back and come back to India. Otherwise, most of my friends had applied for PR, which is permanent residency, and stayed back. And I decided, no, I want to come back. This is where my heart was.
So did you define success at that age for yourself?
No, I still haven't.
Yes. You still haven't? Okay.
Still haven't.
So you came back to India, and how did that happen? How did you go from insurance selling, doing masters in marketing, to making events happen?
Serendipity, I would say. So the call center thing was done, that it's not going to go. And I had applied at a few places. ANU made an offer, generous one. So I had a few months before I flew off. And I met a friend at that time who wanted to move away from his advertising business and wanted to get into events. So he made an offer. He said, why don't you help me in this event? And this is the first event that I'm doing. I'm sick and tired of my advertising agency. And I said, okay, some pocket money. I wanted some money anyways. So I helped him raise some money for this mall launch in 2004, 5, around that time. And I quite enjoyed it.
In Australia? This is
here, okay. In India, before going. And so before leaving, he came to me and said, it was great working together, because we worked for 3-4 months and you do get taken. That was the first event for him. And we, burned the so-called midnight oil. There was a lot of fashion shows we did for this mall called the Gold Souk in Gurgaon in Delhi. And so while I was leaving, he said, would you want to do this together? And I made him a promise that I will come back and and if I come back, I will definitely do events with him and I'll not take up a job and I'll not do anything else out. That's how events happened. So
you came back and joined him? Wow.
I came back and, we started this company together then, which was around events. And next 4-5 years went into that.
So you had a differentiation strategy with events right off the start. You didn't want to do weddings. You didn't want to do the usual.
Yeah, one thing was there that we will not do birthdays. We'll not do weddings. We'd want to do stuff where we can show that we are not mere executioners. You just don't say that put up a stage or put up sound and you can do this. That we would be the ones who will think and bring some value to your event. And we could, right? I mean, we were putting whatever we had into conceptualizing these event properties for our clients. So that was our niche, to say that our events will be, again, strategic events. We'll just not do anything off the cuffs just like that. There will be a logic behind anything that we are proposing. We did many events which were path-breaking for that time, for our clients.
Why did you stop?
Why did I stop is an interesting story. I think it stopped giving me satisfaction after a point. It was giving me a lot of money for my age. I was making the maximum money that I've ever made before that. So 2006 till 2008 was a struggle. It was a very, very bad struggle. But 2009, 2010 were a time when we were really doing well. From 0 to whatever, 10 odd crores we were doing. And events is a reasonably healthy margin business. We were making enough money. But around 2008, 2009, I realized that I wanted to create an IP around events. I believed IP is intellectual property. So, if events as a business is something where after a point, if you're not able to carve a niche for yourself, you keep on doing the same stuff.
Lost in the crowd.
Yeah. And you get lost in the crowd. And I was of the opinion back then that if we have to carve a niche, we have to have something that we own. So think of it like an IPL is a property. IFA is a property where, the event company would invest time, money, efforts into raising sponsorship, into putting together a good show for the first few years. And after that, the property becomes so big.
Cash cow, yeah.
It's a cash cow. But I mean, for him, was 10 years my senior. Still
it's like a sugar daddy, in case you didn't get it.
Yeah, well. Please. So, my partner's 10 years my senior. I still love the guy, but I think we wanted different things in life. So I think my partner and I think we just wanted different things in life. I wanted more. Like, in Troy, the dialogue is, I want what all men want. I just wanted more. So I think I wanted more. And wanting more is a dangerous thing because you don't know where to stop. So it came to a point where I said, if it is not going big, I will just go home. So it's like either go big or go home. And I discussed it with Fahim, and I think he had different plans. I had different plans. So I thought it's not worth it. So at the top of my personal game, it might not be too big compared to what other event companies were doing. But for my personal thing, whatever we were doing, I was quite happy. Like whatever I wanted to buy, I had done by then in 2010. But it came to a point where it just became meaningless. I was not sleeping happy. It's important that you go to bed and you feel that you've had a good day. So it's not always about material gains, but just about being able to do something which you feel happy about. And I was not happy anymore. It stopped making me happy. And so around events, I had realized that money is not the only thing that can make you happy, because money was there. Enough, more than enough, but it just stopped making me happy. That's it.
I think you so remind me of a question that I have in my daily journal, which is, what is the value I've created today?
Yeah, great.
And if I don't feel that, I don't feel like sleeping. I'm like, dude, whole day got through and I didn't create any value.
Man, you're so sorted for your age, man. You're so sorted. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? I think what's wrong with me is I got to kicks too early in life.
Yeah, you guys make me feel so old, done and dusted. One thing that I also do, I don't know if we can call it what value did I add in the day, but I believe gratitude is extremely important. So what I do and what I tell all 40 of us at Peabody Sirona to do is capture one good thing that happened in the day, and we all write it religiously in our emails. So if I get 40 emails every day, they capture what did they do throughout the day, what are they planning to do the next day. But there's a line at the bottom that says one good thing of the day, one good thing that happened in the day. And that's what life to me is today. I think at this age, 36, I believe life is around appreciating small good things that are happening and building everything on those. So like you said, one value add that you did, you're a better human being. That you're saying what value add you did in the day. I'm only saying that whatever good happened, let's just be thankful about it, because life is tough for everybody. There is anybody social media, everybody's happy, right? On social media, but otherwise everybody's fighting a battle. But I think one way to get through that is appreciating small good things that happens every day in your life. And you should, if possible, start capturing it in a diary, if possible. And I do it once at the end of the month, before my review, we do a once a month review with the entire team. And when I go back to my notes of last 30 days, I have no reason to complain that, we've not covered some ground, whether it is personal or professional. It could be as simple as I didn't get traffic on the road. It could just be that it was just a nice day, but capturing it is very important.
I see a Dandapani in you.
Come on. Like I said, you're too kind with your words.
But I think it's something you should start now rather than later. A gratitude journal is something that you can look up and get going.
Yeah.
It's an anchor that you would want very early in your life. Let's go ahead. How did you end up in a business of selling handmade carpets? I know that your wife had a role to play in this, but explain it to us.
So it fell in my lap. My God has been, like I said, kind on many occasions. So when the decision to end events came, it wasn't something that I had planned. And by then, one thing was clear, that I don't want to do a job. I have nothing against people who do jobs. More power to them. But for me personally, I thought that I perform better in a business environment, when I'm creating something from end to end, and I can take that load, to say, I'll try to see it through, and I can live in misery. So for the first 3 years in events, like I said, it was very bad life. Last 2 years were very good. Same thing happened with carpets. First 3 years were very bad. Then it was very good.
You have this theory of 3 years or 1,000 days.
1,000 days. Oh, absolutely. I swear by it. If you plan to start something, the only thing you need to tell yourself is, it's going to take 1,000 days. If I can survive 1,000 nights, it can happen earlier. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but you have to make a promise to yourself that before 1,000th day, I'm not going to give it up. So if you have to start, and that's why I tell everybody in the team that if you plan to start anything in life, the time to start it now, because it will take 1,000 days. At least that's my experience. And I've done this 3 times over, twice extremely successfully, once failed at it because it didn't see 1,000th day. And now whatever I'm doing, touch wood, is scaling because of that philosophy that nothing is built overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day.
It was built every day.
It's still being built. So, that's the theory. Anything that you do will take about 1,000 days. So, carpets, how did that happen? So, 2009-ish is when we decided to get married. Rashi was my wife. she was trying to, she was working with Infosys. I told her, I don't want a job. Because time was stable by then. The events business was stable. And I told her, why don't you try something? Because IP, events, all that background was there. So I said, why don't you become India's first female carpet designer? And she agreed. So she started her store. First year was a struggle. By 2010 end, because I had moved on, I had some time on hand. So we sat down and we said, see, if this has to go forward, if you have to do these premium projects, the HNIs are not buying their carpets on their own. So we turned the business on its head. We started meeting a lot of architects and interior designers. We traveled Middle East, Saudi, Singapore with all these carpets in our bags, showing to people. And then that worked. In 13, 14 onwards, we started doing a lot of work. Yeah.
I think that's such an interesting point of identifying your customer.
Unfortunately or fortunately with me, you will not get to know a lot of struggle stories because I just don't, there's a system inside of me, I think, which doesn't register bad things. Or it just makes me stronger. But if you ask me to the struggles of the carpet days, automatically I'll come to the good days. If you ask me the struggles of the time days, I would automatically come on the nice days. Same is the case with Peabody and Sirona now. So it is important to just be at it. You know, there's a mug and I've given it to everybody now in the office, which says, if you're at it, you will crack it. That's my line. I would love to believe I've not seen it anywhere else. But that's the formula. So because if you're at it, you will certainly find your calling. The thing is, don't seek the validations or answers outside in. It has to be inside out. So if the promise here is that I want to do this business and I'm willing to give it all, that's all that you need to focus on, that I will be at it. And in that quest of being at it, you will keep on stumbling upon new challenges every day. One day it might be about parental acceptance. Second, it could be about your partner, sexuality, whatever is what you're working on. And if you're at it, you will crack each and everything one by one. That's the formula. So in the carpet business, what we had to crack was who's the customer. While at Peabody, we had to crack how to sell it. At Sirona, again, the same thing. So
we'll come to that.
Yeah. So that's the magic thing, at least, that I follow.
Surviving another day and giving it another chance till you hit the 1,000th day.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes. It's about surviving every day and celebrating every day. You have to, the only thing as a founder that you have to work on is yourself. If you and your mind is in a good place, if you are positive, you'll find an answer to everything. So that's why I say that energy vampire. I have heard so many things about, from these leaders, but this thing has stayed with me because I've seen it. There are people, whether it is some of the investors, some of the customers, some of the team members or family, friends, you would all, I don't know in what form will they be there in your life, but there'll be people who'll be sucking your energy.
How do you identify them? Do you have a test?
You will feel drained out after one conversation. You just feel drained out. There'll be somebody, maybe could be your Masi, could be your mom as well. The people who would always be asking you to not do something that you want to do. They want your good, but you are a different person. They absolutely want, maybe most of them would want your good, but I'm a different human being, right? And they have done their mistakes. And I keep telling everybody, you are entitled to yours. You're absolutely entitled to your mistakes. What I do today is the Peabody Sirona range of products. We're trying to solve those issues which have not been addressed. Whether it is around dirty toilets. So the norm was clean the seat, squat. We changed it. Or it was about menstrual pain. The norm was use a hot water bottle or take a painkiller. We changed it with our, Sirona herbal period pain relief patches, which are again India's first under Sirona. Disposal of sanitary products was a challenge that women were facing. So came up with these oxo-degradable disposal bags for clean and hygienic disposal. There was no solutions available around chafing in the intimate areas for women, because of pads or heavy thighs. Came up with an all-natural.
They rub against each other.
Came with an all-natural, no chemical actives, anti-chafing cream, a natural wash. So similarly, we are trying to say what other problems are they facing and what other solutions can be built around solving these intimate and menstrual hygiene problems for women. And one of the extensions that we've, really stumbled upon recently is testing of pregnancy. So that's where the PregRx was conceptualized. And now I'm saying with Peabody, because it has simplified, peeing in unfriendly toilets for women, whether it is pregnancy, arthritis, or even running, jogging, marathon, you can just stand and pee. And the extension of that is Peabody PregRx, where I said earlier, women had to pee into a container, take a dropper, and then now you just pee into Peabody. So the future for us holds into what other problems can be solved with with P-Buddy and urine as a device to test. So maybe diabetes, UTI, jaundice. We wish to simplify all of those tests, which are right now complicated. I mean, it's difficult to do those tests at home. So that's the future. It will say we'll try to solve similar problems for women in the country and everywhere else in the world.
What does Sirona mean before?
It's a Celtic goddess of hygiene. So we stand for hygiene.
It's a what god of hygiene?
Celtic goddess
Celtic
of hygiene. That's what it is.
बाप रे, cleanliness का भी भगवान है.
हाँ है. माई बाप नहीं है पर भगवान जरूर है. So yeah, so an extension of intimate. What is intimate? Intimate is niji, right? मेरी ऐसी problem which is mine. So I mean, I might be very close to my husband or to my boyfriend or to my girlfriend or whatever you're into. But there are things which we still don't talk, like rashes in the intimate area. You will talk lubrication, but you might not talk rashes.
Yeah.
You might talk foreplay, but you might not talk vaginal discharges or the white discharge that a lady gets. So we are trying to say, what are these issues and how do we solve these so that if she's not talking to somebody, it is not a hindrance. So she should find some solution. And that's what Sirona will become. And an extension of that is an extension of intimate health is your mental health. It's again something very private. An extension of intimate health is your sexual health, sexual wellness. So that's the space we're in. And that's why we say we are an intimate and menstrual hygiene focused startup solving ignored and unaddressed problems faced by women in our country. 3 pillars are these only. It has to be a problem faced by women, has to be in the intimate or menstrual hygiene space, and has to be something that is not spoken about or addressed. As long as these 3 pillars are there, we are the startup which wants to do something about it. So menstrual is a part. We are more intimate in menstrual hygiene. So in future, you will see us solving similar issues like testing of pregnancy. It's a happy news for many. It's a unhappy news for a few. Depending on.
I think that's going to reverse.
Yeah, well, so that's what we're trying to say, that, now you don't need to find a container. You can just pee and no need to, look for containers and droppers.
How does it evolve, Deep? The story of Deep and how he got around making P-Buddy happen is popular. Look it up. I want to focus much more on the growth that has happened because I think there's a lot of learnings that have been missed.
P-Buddy, because it was born on road trip. I think how other products under Sirona have evolved is because of customer feedback. And that's one thing that we keep hearing a lot of stuff from our customers and we keep improving on that. Period pain, for instance. So P-Buddy and period pain was born out of my own personal experiences in my life. Rest, all the products are mostly because of customer feedback. And the learnings are this, that you'll always take own time. The first year, we might have sold only 10,000 P-Buddies. Next year, maybe 50,000 or 100,000. Last couple of years, we sold about 2 million units. So things take time to take off. How I tell my team is also this, and that's the learning that needs to be taken away, that we are all planes, like an airplane on the tarmac. बहुत अच्छा लगता है देख के, look at that startup, it's $1 billion, it's $1 billion valuation, he's raised money, he's doing this. But the distance between you and them is just a takeoff ka signal. Ki, you take off, now it's your time. But till then, the perseverance to just hang in there till the time the ATC tells you, okay, you're clear for takeoff, is what will distinguish a successful startup from a not so successful one. Because the not so successful ones or the unsuccessful ones will throw in the towel. There are circumstances where I'm not saying you shouldn't. If things are getting too difficult, too bad, you can't take it, your circumstances, you know it. Throw it. But if you can hold it, I would always say just hang in there for that time. And that is how everything has evolved for us. We never thought that we would be talking about menstrual cups, for example, so strongly in our country. But they're one of the best sellers for us. And all the competition and everybody else has been saying sell sanitary pads, and we're saying no, we don't want to do sanitary pads. And it's because we believe in this.
I know there's no long-term business in menstrual cups. There's no repeat business.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's no long-term. But I think who knows long-term here.
I mean, one menstrual cup lasts 10 years.
Oh yeah, 10 years. Yes, years? Yeah. For a boy your age, about menstrual cups. I'm surprised, but good. So yes,
I researched.
You've done a good research, let's just say.
Give a 5-star rating.
Can I give you 7? So you already have 6 packs. So yeah, you get more than 5.
Oh god.
So yes, it is, but it's about being in the game. When you're talking about P-Buddy or Sirona, we thought it'll be more about period pain relief patches, and our tampons will do better. But cups, now the anti-chafing cream, P-Buddy Pregarix, all these things have evolved. And one thing that has stayed constant in our life is being in the game. So whenever there's a bad day, we just go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what is not working? Let's try to fix that. A lot of such things have happened.
Let's talk about bad days. I love two things your culture does. One is the happiness wall, or the gratitude that every employer, First Step Digital or Peabody and Sirona has to mail the every day.
Yeah.
One thing that they're grateful for that day.
Yeah.
And it could be as simple as having no traffic, getting the right coffee.
Yes.
Or it could be just a customer feedback.
Yes.
There's another thing that you have, best experience sheet. What is this about?
It is similar to this only, where we are saying that, there are good things happening every day. And it's about capturing that. So that's what is my best experiences. And so, for instance, in my own life, we were looking at a time when there were no sales happening around Peabody. And one day, all of a sudden, the CEO of Procam International, these are the organizers of Standard Chartered Bombay Marathon, Airtel Delhi Marathon, called me at a day's notice and bought 10,000 Peabodys and gave it to women complimentary. So those sort of things are something that we believe in writing as, things that played a major role in changing the
hand
course.
of faith.
Yeah. And that was more from the business side. But if you ask more from the intellectual, or not intellectual, I'll say my soul satisfaction came the day when there was an interview that NDTV was doing in 2017. And they asked us to call some customers. And this cancer survivor lady came on camera. And we didn't even know her. We had not asked her. We just sent an email to customers saying, can somebody please come and talk about us? And she came out. Until then, cancer wasn't even one of the things that we were focusing on. And she said how because of Peabody now she's able to travel a little more freely because they're much more prone to infection compared to an average person. I mean, those sort of things give you those hair-raising experiences, and they need to be captured. So we've captured that every day. Every day something good is happening. So that wall captures the bigger things. The email captures one good thing of the day every day.
Is there any other things that you have created or implemented that are unique, that are giving you results?
Unique in our system will be that there are no hierarchies. We do a monthly review where it's an open house. Everybody sits in that review. So we don't hide anything from any team members. What are our numbers? What did we do good? What did we do bad? All discussed with everybody. Because I believe out of these people, only my core 50 will evolve. That's another thing with, most of the businesses are built on. If you look at large enterprises, it's a team of people. We do celebrate Warren Buffett, but he's not alone in it. We do celebrate Steve Jobs, but he's not alone. He wasn't alone when he built it. Bill Gates wasn't alone. So that's the thing that I'm trying to do in my team, to say everything is available for everybody. Out of this, it might be misused, but I can't be paranoid about that. I need to be more focused on which are those 10 out of the current 50 who are going to give us as in this cause. This cause of Peabody Sirona is around making life better for women in the country. Their heart and soul. And one of the ways how I can do it is by buying their pure faith and confidence. So one thing that we do is this monthly open meeting, where right from the office boys to warehouse, everybody's there. Another we do is this thing where I'm saying if they are happy from inside, they'll be able to give a happier day at work. So good thing of the day. They have to mention whether they've not. I'm fine if they don't mention what they did during the day, but that thing has to be there. Third is no hierarchies. So there are no seniors, there are no juniors. There's an open door policy. You can talk to whoever, you can say whatever. Those three things I would say is something that I'm there. And the last thing that I do in the office is tell everybody that we don't believe in lying at all. There's no lies that goes on in the office, or at least we try. So you say that, and that culture has today resulted in a matter in a scenario where now if somebody's going on a date, I know they're going on a date if they're going early from office. So that culture is very important. That, you should be able to tell your senior juniors that we are all the same. There is no difference. And second is that just be honest. Very important.
What did you learn from Dr. Eden Yin?
Dr.
Eden Yin, who is a professor at Cambridge.
Oh, Matt, you have done your research.
Now I get the compliment.
You have done your research. Wow. He's a great professor. I think.
Introduce us to him.
So, Dr. Eden is a professor for marketing at Cambridge, and I was there for this course. And I didn't go with any, huge expectations, though it's one of the best universities in the world. But I had just gone because, I thought it'll be a nice thing. And by the way, we had won this course in one of the events, Lufthansa Runway to Success Season 5. We were the winners, and they're the ones who sent us. Still thankful to them. So this guy changed a lot of things about, because when you're running the show, you're thinking more about the problems that you're facing every day, and you think you're trying to figure it out. He said a few things which is so I would say, path breaking, that it shook the foundation. So one of the things that he said is the competition is not really your competition who you can see immediately. It could be somebody sitting outside. So that's what marketing is all about. That you have to see 10 years hence. And the example that he gave at that time was Nikon and Canon as cameras, that they were the best competitors at that time, but they were not killed by by each other. They were killed by a mobile phone. And how pager wasn't killed by the next best pager. It was killed by mobiles, or similarly, like how HMT or these scooters or cars which have been phased out were not really phased out by the immediate competition. And similarly, he was saying that maybe the competition that airlines have to look at, which is Boeing and Airbus, is not amongst themselves. Could be the Hyperloop. Which
or Skype.
Or Skype, yeah. Hyperloop, because, the traveling from US to India, why would you want to sit in a box for 14, 15 hours and check in, 2 hours early, 2 hours later? So those sort of things he said, which are very, very interesting.
What else? There's more to it. Come on. Don't hold the beans.
Man, you didn't tell me that you'd be asking these questions. So
I don't give you any
didn't say. Did we have to
something that you applied?
What did I apply? What all did he teach? Shit, I'm turning old. This I remember. And Please. What we applied was this only, that let's not look at who is copying us, who is, trailing our products. Let's look at our own battle and think 5 and 10 years hence. And I would say to a large extent that he was the reason why we started thinking about what extensions can P-Buddy have today in urine testing, to say it is not only a female urination device. You need to see what other problems can we solve which are going to be big in 5 or 10 years. And hence we took on pregnancy and jaundice and UTI, which is work in progress. So it does, ruffle you the wrong way. So let's just say that.
So who's your competition now? Who are you competing against in 5-10 years?
I'm competing against our own self. My own self, to be honest. Yeah. It might sound a very philosophical answer, but that's where it is, because the definition has changed. Having done 3 businesses, what I've realized is your service, your product, your commitment to your clients is the only thing that is at the end of the day going to matter in business. Nothing else matters. Your competition tomorrow might have a fight with his wife, could result in divorce, and there's no point fretting over it right now, or could have some other issues, it could be run out of cash. And we've seen it umpteen number of times. Those sort of things have played out in the Indian ecosystem only, that there were some companies which are huge at one point and then they ceased to exist. But when they were competing at that time, so much of money and time and energy was wasted trying to change your business plans around competition. So one thing that we do today is we don't really base our plans basis what the other person is doing. There are some brands which are taking inspirations from what we are doing. We are also taking inspirations from whatever is happening around the world. We are just trying to see how can we solve problems for our customers. And our competition is going to be with us only. If we are not able to solve the problems in the best possible manner for our customers in 5 years, we will eat our own selves. That's what scares me the most. That I hope I don't become irrelevant for my customers. So I'm competing against my own self here. If today we get 1 fan email, the target is to get 10 tomorrow and 100 day after. That's what we are striving for. So that's what we are competing with.
How else do you measure your relevance?
So one yardstick, unfortunately, but is sales. So month on month, touch wood, our numbers are growing. We are creating impact not only in terms of sales, but also in terms of the environmental impact of some of these products. Like we don't push tampons as much as we push our menstrual cups. We believe we don't really care too much if the customer doesn't come back for 10 years, but it's good for her. And the philosophy there is that if she knows that this as a brand Sirona as a brand thinks about my well-being over their own financial gains, then for our other products, she might trust us. So we find relevance in seeing that not only the sales for our regular cups is going up, but the other peripheral products that we created as innovations are picking up. So the period pain relief patches, we get emails from our customers saying, these herbal pain relief patches have worked on my daughter. We get a lot of emails from customers saying, P-Buddy, I've put it in my daughter's bag forever. Whenever she's going on a trek, she has it. Whenever she's going to office, she's getting, and we keep getting so many testimonials and videos. And that's how we see that we are still relevant. A lot of international inquiries come in that we want to be our distributors. A lot of fan mails come in, and that's how we keep our head just over the water to say we're doing okay. So we don't really bask too much in it, but we do take it as a blessing. That's how it goes.
I think it is a blessing. Going from being called Susu Saheli, getting calls proper threats.
Yeah, all that has happened.
Having fan mails.
So, there were fan mails back then only, but yes, you have done your homework. So, Susu Saheli, not only Susu Saheli, trolls, a lot of that happened. But back then also, those were not the irritants. The thing there was that I was trying to seek, man, the best way to shut them up is success, So I was just looking for that success where I was not dependent on my own money or the investor money. Because first 2 years we kept the business bootstrap and then we raised angel, a little later. So the question was, and I never celebrated funding announcements. It's always, and I would not. I mean, we are in discussion to do a Series A. Touch wood, if all goes well, it should also come in.
Tathastu.
Thank you. So, but it's not about celebrating funding. It's about celebrating milestones in terms of customer faith of confidence in terms of sales. Back then it was around, I want more sales. I want business to survive on its own so that, I can pay my salaries on merit.
Live another month.
Live another month. Live another day. Live another month. Fight another day. So these trolls would be an irritant and they always have been, but then they put you back in track because for every 10 such bad mails, even if one good fan mail comes, it just makes the journey worthwhile. Yeah. And we keep getting it for both the products, whether it's for Peabody or it's for Sirona. We have for something or the other, we keep getting these customer validations saying, hey, you made a difference in my life. And that's what makes it worthwhile. Yeah. Nothing else.
I think I'm going to skip my final question this time. He has answered it already. Where can they find you, Deep?
Wherever they want, yeah. My name is Deep Bajaj. I'm on LinkedIn, on Instagram. My email address is deepbajaj@gmail.com. And
where can they buy your product?
Well, we are on peabody.in, we are on sironaindia.com, or on Amazon, Nykaa, or Flipkart.
All the links are in the show notes and descriptions. This is something I personally vouch for. I haven't taken money from him. And you guys know that. I personally vouch for it. Give it a shot. If you do not use it personally, like I don't, buy it for those that you care for. Let them get that awareness that something like this exists in the market. The big brands, the malls, they may not promote it, but I think it's something that your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your sister, your friend would be grateful for. If not outwardly, definitely secretively and intimately. On that note, go make some Galata.